Without a just explanation and concrete ideas of how to settle the current dispute, Hong Kong people will not retreat. And there's no reason for anyone to ask us to retreat. And therefore, the Occupy movement must be ongoing.
The pan-democratic camp in the Legislative Council decides to echo the disobedience action outside the Council.
The basis for a constructive dialogue between us and the students has been seriously undermined. I urge protesters to take into account public interest and retreat from the occupied sites immediately. Occupy Central protests, now into its 12th day, have already caused a lot of disruption to the daily life of Hong Kong people and significant loss to businesses. These unlawful activities must end as soon as possible. We remain.
You know, the Chinese government, they don't want us to have the democracy because Hong Kong may be a sample for the rest of the city to follow suit. Maybe they don't want the government to. They don't want their people to stand against the government. So they have been suppressing our movement. They don't want us to be a good sample for them. If we succeed, the other city may think we have a chance to.
The government never respond to the citizens' thoughts. So we want to support the movement. So until the government have a real response to us.
This is how the protesters have responded to a Hong Kong government decision to break off talks with the demonstrators on Thursday. They called for a rally, tried to make a popular show of force to put pressure on the Hong Kong government in negotiations, again, that have stalled. Now, the Hong Kong government, the #2 official, said that the talks were broken off because the grounds for constructive dialogue had been seriously undermined. So we have a situation where thousands of people are out here, but the character of the demonstration in downtown Hong Kong has changed somewhat. There is now a stage, there are now speakers, there are screens now. The crowd doesn't seem to be made up as much of 18 to 22-year-old students. It's much more mixed, and we're not seeing quite the surging grassroots numbers of people that we saw in the first week of October, a much more spontaneous gathering of people who were outraged at the use of tear gas by riot police against unarmed student demonstrators. The argument, of course, is over democracy, over projected elections for this former British colony in the year 2017. The people here say they want more free and fair elections. They don't want Beijing to have the power to vet and select candidates for that election. And the government here has said it is simply not in a position to negotiate on these terms, on these rules for the election. So it's